Hey folks, MasakoX here. Before we continue the story of what if Turles had become a good guy, I would like to point you all to my newly refreshed Patreon at patreon.com/MasakoX, just to make sure the channel can keep on chugging along. Thank you very much for your time, and let's get on to the story. Hey, Namekian, is everything alright? Turles poked Piccolo's shoulder pad. Huh? Green appeared to be slightly taken aback. I'm not sure. Can you see these two figures? Piccolo roughly moved his head into the direction of two mysterious individuals. The shorter one had a weird mohawk of sorts and was looking rather smug. Well, they don't look like any Earthlings, that's for sure. They may be here to cause trouble. Turles furrowed his brow, looking increasingly confused. There's something else. I'm experiencing a really weird feeling when I look at him. I can't explain it. As if something deep inside me is holding me back. As if it can't handle the truth. Alright, Turles patted him on the back. Go tell the others to keep an eye out. Where are you going? Turles, what are you doing? The Namekian looked surprised. Scouting mission. The Saiyan gave him half of a smile and stepped towards the two strangers. Excuse me, he started. I can't help but notice that you guys don't happen to be local. Not that there's anything bad about that, it's just, I'm curious where you hail from. The taller of the two seemed visibly appalled by this tone in which Turles was talking to them. But the shorter one, clearly the one in charge here, still retained that smug expression. I'm sorry. I didn't know that it's a crime over here to come from far away. It's not. In fact, I'm also from far away. But I don't recognize your species, and I've seen a lot, Mr. The Saiyan made some space for the stranger to introduce himself. Shin. And no, I don't think you would see a lot of people like me, Mr. The mysterious individual did the same thing. Turles. So I suppose you and your friend over here are just here to enjoy the sporting event? The Saiyan gave him a crooked smile. It is none of your concern why we are here, Morty. The taller of the two spoke out in a hoarse, unpleasant voice. Whoa, I didn't like that tone, buddy. We're all friends here, right? Don't start anything that you cannot live to regret. Turles gave the redskin one a very long and intimidating gaze. You have to forgive Mr. Kibito, Mr. Turles. He is very protective of me, you see. And it is like you said. We are merely here to join your sporting event. We have heard that you have some rather strong fighters over this way, and we'd like to test our might, he said, with his facade not breaking and looking still extremely cordial. Turles was sure that he was putting this on, but the question remained. What was behind this? Okay, I hope we'll have a chance to test our might against one another. Oh, are you competing? Shin smiled politely. Yeah, me and a couple of friends. Turles wasn't breaking eye contact, trying to keep it cool. Well then, it'll be an honor to meet you in battle, Captain. The polite smile regained that smugness. The Saiyan said nothing. The point was not to give this pipsqueak any more satisfaction than he was clearly having right now. Well, enjoy Earth. Just don't touch anything, he said with a hint of threat in his voice. The taller one, Kibito, opened his mouth to speak again, but Shin interrupted him. We do not intend to. See you later, Captain Turles. The Saiyan said nothing again, and merely turned away. Who even was that? He clearly had knowledge about his pirate past and it was rather hard to try and read. They might have been just some space martial artists trying to get a bit of easy fame or something by winning a tournament on a backwater planet, but it felt like something more sinister was at play here. He had to keep his eyes open, he knew that. He rejoined his partner and the rest of his friends. Is everything alright? Tights looked at him with some concern. Not sure yet, but let's say we have more aliens on Earth than usual. Maybe more material for the next book, hon. I do hope everything will go smoothly. Should we check out the preparations for the junior division? Regents could use some pep talk from you. Yeah, sure. Turles was still looking at Shin from across the grounds. He hated that dumb, smug expression. It's almost like it didn't fit the guy. Like he was just forcing it. It wasn't natural. And so, the junior division was about to begin. As the parents were able to sit on the stands, the kids started to get quite anxious. Well, almost all of them. Trunks and Regins both seemed pretty pumped up about the upcoming fights they were going to have, ready to prove themselves, with Goten still being his cheerful self. The son of Turles was quite surprised on how much he got into this whole tournament business. Initially, he entered it as a means of trying just to connect with his dad, but right now, well, he wanted to show himself from his good side. He looked up in the stands to see his parents giving him the thumbs up. He smiled. What was kind of souring up all this experience, though, was Hercule and his overall presence here. Yeah, one of the prizes was getting to spar with this fraudish piece of dinosaur dung. But Regins knew that he cannot mess him up too hard so as to make sure that Videl wasn't upset. She was alright, all things considered. A bit of a stick in the mud, but was kind enough to not cause them bigger problems, and Gohan appeared to really like her, and Regins wasn't the one. He didn't want to be the one to upset his friends' friends, or crushes for that matter. Regins defeated his opponent Webley with ease, and the next fight was supposed to be against a rather large boy named Koryu, who had pushed some poor sod out of the arena. Surprisingly, Hercule did something nice to the boy and gave him some encouragement. Even if he lost, he does have at least some good traits within him. At least he used his stolen fame to do something nice to this boy. This was rather puzzling for Regins, but still, he had to concentrate on his fight against Koryu. "I'm going to push you off," said the sumo boy confidently. Regins smiled wickedly, looking at him. "Okay, I want to see you try." He stood in the middle of the arena. When the referee declared the start of the match, Koryu immediately moved to push the son of Turles off the arena, and to his surprise, he would not budge. This small, short boy was refusing to move, just as if he were made of metal. "Just you wait, I will. Koryu was circling around him, attempting to find a good angle and getting genuinely mad. "Maybe try grappling and throwing me?" Regins raised both of his hands, just so the sumo boy had an easier time in picking him up. "Would that help, huh, fatty?" Koryu grunted angrily and attempted to lift his opponent off the ground, but that too failed. Trunks and Goten were laughing loudly from their viewing arena, and even Muki, the boy eliminated by the massive sumo boy, was in a bit of a good mood watching this. This was pure catharsis. "What is this trick? Are you using gadgets?" Koryu was getting madder and madder, but slightly panicked. "Hey, don't look at me. I'm making it easy for you. I thought you were a tough guy." "Why? Koryu kept trying, but Regins was immovable. He started to get all tired and sweaty. "Hey, can I try now?" the son of Turles smiled. Koryu chuckled. "You shorty? You want to try and pick me up?" Even though Regins had shown himself to be immovable, it was hard for the sumo boy to believe that he could pull this off. "Tell you what, you impress me. Come on, so be it." He wasn't able to finish his sentence, as Regins had picked up his massive body and lifted him over his head without so much as any struggle. "And here we go with the merry-go-round." He started to rotate Koryu rather quickly. The Dumbo boy started screaming, and after a while, Regins just tossed him out of the arena, leaving the uninitiated stunned. It took Hercule a moment to regain his cool and congratulate Regins. Turles was laughing out loud, clapping for his son, with even Vegeta being slightly amused. "Well, I gotta say, your boy might have more guts than you, Turles," the prince smirked. That almost sounded like a compliment, Prince. "Don't get used to it, pirate." Vegeta crossed his arms. "Trunks will surely win against him." Speaking of Trunks, he was able to dispatch a bully named Idasa, who was talking smack about him, with Goten dealing with his brother Ikose. Both fights were rather amusing to watch, as these older boys were very dismissive of the young half-Saiyans, and they learnt the hard way that it would be a very silly idea to keep doing that. Regins' another opponent, Menego, was rather shy and seemed quite intimidated by him, and opted to leave the arena earlier, just simply giving up. Finally, as the junior division continued, he was actually able to get to the finale. The question remained, who was going to be his opponent, Goten or Trunks. He was cheering for both of them, of course. He wanted to fight either one of them, as both his cousin and their best friend were rather formidable in their own right. He knew that exactly. The boys then began to fight, and it was very obvious that they were very even. So Goten decided to spice things up a bit and transform into Super Saiyan, much to Trunks' dismay and frustration. Regins watched with certain satisfaction how Hercule's eyes were now agog with fear. Yeah, you remember, don't you? Soon, Trunks decided to do the same thing, and in a climactic moment, he knocked the son of Goku out of the ring.
Wow, Vegeta! Trunks is really something else! Congratulations!
Goku patted Vegeta on the shoulder.
You're too soft on your kid, Kakarot. As you can see, he had to resort to Super Saiyan way too quickly to be my boy.
Well, I think both of them did good. But yeah, I'll have to work harder with Goten. That better not mess up with his studies, Goku.
Chi-Chi chimed in.
Now go there and say that you're proud of him. Of course, Chi-Chi, I will, of course. I will.
Goku laughed nervously. Well, Prince, the moment of truth, Turles smirked. As Trunks and Regin stood on the opposite sides of the arena, they both looked at their dads, who gave them an appreciative nod.
I want to win, so I can give this fraud a lesson he won't forget.
Regin looked toward Hercule, but he was speaking quiet enough so only Trunks was able to hear him.
Well, you'll have to go through me first, cuz. Let's try not to go Super Saiyan this time, shall we? That will be more interesting.
The son of Turles smirked.
Scared, are we? Huh?
Trunks tilted his head.
Of you? Ha!
And when the referee started the fight, both of the boys charged toward one another. Goten, being quite happy about coming third place and being currently piggybacked by his dad, who went down to congratulate him, was cheering loudly for his two best friends to just have a good time. The fight itself was intense. It wasn't the innocent showing up that Trunks had with his other friend. This seemed more personal. There was no real bad blood between the boys, don't get me wrong, but there was something about their familiar bond that caused them to go that little bit more hard. They were moving so quickly that some of the audience had a really hard time just trying to see it clearly.
What are they doing? Vegeta, I can't see.
Bulma poked her husband.
Going head to head, that's what. Like true Saiyan warriors.
Vegeta's smile widened. There was a bit of pride in that for both of the boys. While he was related to Regins only by marriage and not by blood, at this point, he still considered him part of his clan. And to see both his son and his nephew display such skill was very fulfilling. Even Turles was taken aback. At some point even, Regins screamed and powered up, with Trunks joining in on the charge. And then, after they clashed, the son of Vegeta had gained an upper hand, and one powerful blow had managed to toss Regins out of the arena. Trunks was victorious. It was over. The son of Turles was quite disappointed, his head lowered in shame. Trunks walked upon him and helped him up.
Hey, that was great, cuz. You almost got me.
He said, breathing heavily.
You mean it? Yeah, you and Goten kept me on my toes.
He patted him on the back. Regins was still a bit afraid to look up, only to realize that his parents were already down there, next to Goku, congratulating him.
I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't win,
he said, almost ashamed. Listen, you did all you got. I'm not mighty proud of you, all right? Second place is good enough. You'll get first next time. Turles put his arm around his boy, just trying to be a good dad.
You mean it?
Regin smiled slightly. Of course. Someone's getting extra large ice cream, I know that, before the adult division starts.
Not too large. We don't want to get you sick, all right?
Tight smirked. Even Vegeta went down to congratulate Goten and Regins before Trunks was done receiving his prize.
Hey, you two. You did well. Keep that up and you'll be better than your lazy fathers in no time.
He even gave a slight smile to the son of Turles. Meanwhile, the referee then called Hercule to the stage. And now, our new Junior Division champion is going to get to fight none other than the champ himself. What a great honor! Regins could see that the man was afraid after all. Who of the ordinary humans out there wouldn't be scared of their power? He could see that he was thinking rather quickly about something and wanting to say something to Trunks to try and maybe lessen the embarrassment.
Wait a minute, Blondie!
Hercule urged the referee.
The boys simply wanted my autograph. We gotta set it up. All right, Now we're going.
All right, what composure! Let the fight begin, the referee ordered. Hercule smiled widely and leaned over Trunks, seemingly allowing him to throw the first punch. Ah, I see, he's letting his young opponent attack first. What generosity from the champ, the referee said out loud. Trunks meanwhile turned his head at Regins and smiled, before turning back to Hercule.
I got a message for you from my cousin.
He smirked mischievously.
Message? What?
He couldn't finish the sentence because the punch already had sent him flying into the nearest brick wall. Trunks was really careful not to damage Hercule too much, but he definitely damaged his pride. He left everyone stunned and just simply walked out of the arena to join his dad, who gave him an appreciative tap on the head.
That was still a bit too hard, boy, but you know what? I don't mind it. Vegeta looked at Hercule, who had become one with the wall.
If I went too hard, he'd be on the other side, Dad.
And so, the adult division was about to begin. In the initial fight, Krillin was fighting a rather imposing warrior by the name of Pintar, but everyone's friend dealt with him without an issue. It was the second fight that looked more intriguing. Turles was about to fight Shin. This annoying expression was really getting on his nerves, him having to look at it again. As the referee called for the start of the fight, the alien newcomer was quite surprised by the speed in which the pirate came at him, and the strength of the punch, which most definitely took away his smirk. Good, thought the pirate. The two of them, however, were unaware that the two men with large M's on their forehead were watching the fight rather closely. A little bit too closely. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.